calling for 6,000 National Guard members to be sent to the border, or 3,000 to 6,000 to the border to help fight the war on our southern border, the quote-unquote war. And it's like, well, okay, but if you keep discharging people, qualified people, being gay doesn't mean your bullet doesn't fly straight.
Yeah.
You keep sending soldiers away. How lean are you going to make the force when you need soldiers the most? They're calling for more soldiers in Afghanistan, which I know there's people on both sides whether that'd be valuable or not, but it's just stop sending them away. So that's one interesting side of it, is that this group on Facebook, Gays Against Don't Ask, Don't Tell Compromise, they don't actually stand against the compromise. They're just afraid the language doesn't cover enough to be effective. The other interesting one, Secretary Gates had come out and said that he was not in favor of passing legislation, of legislative action until the executive branch's investigation had finished in December. But the compromise bill that's in place, or that they're going to vote on, leaves the implementation up to the Department of Defense and simply repeals the law. And so he was able, Bob Gates was able to get behind that because, he's in favor of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but he didn't want it to be pulled out from underneath the military without the military having some plan of what to do about it after it's gone.
Right.
So this compromise leaves that implementation plan to the military. So he was able to get behind it. So it's garnering a lot of support. But one place it doesn't garner support is our friend of the North.
Yes.
Our recently elected Tea Party Republican, Senator Brown from Massachusetts. Senator Scott Brown says he has said that he's undecided on this issue for a long time. And he came out recently and he said that he will be voting against the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy that's going to hit the floor this week.
The repeal.
The repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy when it hits the floor this week. Apparently because he doesn't believe any legislative action should be taken until the military's self-survey is done. Which struck me as being really odd because the Tea Party folks tend to sort of label themselves in a libertarian light.
Sure. And
this just feels like an elected senator representing the people saying, yeah, I know Don't Ask, Don't Tell is a law that was passed by the legislative branch and signed by the executive branch, and repealing it is a legislative action taken by the legislative branch. But the legislative branch shouldn't do anything with it until after the executive branch does their little self-investigation and decides whether or not it's a good idea. And it's like, I thought, it really feels wrong to me. It really feels like he's kowtowing to the executive branch. It really feels to me like, are you standing up for the people of Massachusetts to repeal a law that in a recent national poll by CNN, 78% of the public supports allowing gay people to serve, with only 1 in 5 people opposed to it. 78 people supporting, 20% opposed. I would dare say those numbers are at least that or higher in Massachusetts. And, this guy is supposed to be standing on principle. That was what he got elected on. Not kowtowing to Washington politics, not bowing to the pressures of the party. And it just feels like he's bowing to the pressures of the party and ignoring the voice of Massachusetts citizens when he says, we're not gonna do the principled thing and repeal this unfair practice. We're gonna wait for the executive branch to finish looking at themselves and see if they like what they see first.
Yeah.
And then we'll see about doing something if they're comfortable with it. So that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression. Yeah.
I like independent thinkers. He was a promising independent thinker that, I was telling you this before. If you listen to some of Linda McMahon's ads, we were watching one on the internet the other day.
How can you miss them?
She starts one of them by saying, the problem with Washington politics is we keep sending politicians to Washington. The problem with that is when you elect someone and send them to Washington as a representative, they are labeled a politician.
Sure.
If you're involved in politics, you're a politician.
Yeah. Not sure how you get around that.
Yeah. So Scott Brown seems to have been a very principled candidate and a very party politician. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully that. Hopefully I'm reading too much into this, but
yeah. Well, we'll see.
And he's our neighbor's representative, not mine personally. So.
Yes.
But I kind of feel very protective of the Northeast.
Yes.
And our politics.
Yes.
So.
Yes. The Northeast is a wonderful place.
Ted Kennedy was an ardent supporter of people,
yes.
Whether you liked his liberal-leaning politics or not. He was very, very influential in making sure that the average American got taken care of. And to see the seat go to someone who's not willing to stand up with 78% of the electorate.
Yeah, that's kind of disturbing.
But anyway.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So that's the don't ask, don't tell stuff that's going on. The only other bit of news that I had was not related to don't ask, don't tell. Apparently, there's been a battle going on in Maine. Maine repealed the marriage equality law.
Right. Wasn't happy about that.
No.
Okay.
But there's a preliminary ruling by a federal magistrate judge that has ordered the names of the donors who helped to finance last year's repeal of Maine's marriage equality law be released to state officials.
Interesting.
It doesn't mean that the names of the donors dating back to January 1st of 2001, the people that had donated money to the National Organization for Marriage in order to finance the campaign, it doesn't mean that those names will become public.
Right. That's
not what the judge is looking for. But the state officials who were looking into the practices and the influence of outside money on state politics wanted to get access to the list of donors, and the federal magistrate is now, federal magistrate judge has ordered in a preliminary ruling that the names would be given to the state.
Interesting.
It says before the order can take effect, a federal judge has to sign off on it, and that could take several weeks.
Well, we'll follow that story and see where that goes.
But it's one of those concerns. We saw it with Prop 8, and we even see it in our own Connecticut battle. Connecticut issues that outside money on local political races really doesn't reflect local views.
Right. Yeah, and with enough money, you can influence things, can't you?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but
it's commendable that they're looking into how the outside money may have influenced that decision. Hopefully, leading to something saying, if we feel it is too influential, what can we do about it?
Right.
So, that feels like responsible politics. Politicians looking into that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We certainly know here in Connecticut, a local school board that has 12 people on it deciding, making decisions for the town's kids up in Enfield was significantly influenced by money from outside of Enfield.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
When it came to deciding where to hold high school graduation.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, with enough money, you can make things like this happen. You can certainly... You can influence things with money. You can sort of silence us for a while. But you know what? The bottom line is, in the end, we're going to win.
Well, yeah.
You can only do that for so long. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of money.
Well, it's water eroding away at the rock.
Yeah. It's like when it comes to doing the right thing, sooner or later, guess what?
And you can look at the civil rights stuff. Yeah, it might take 60, 80, 100 years or more.
Yeah.
We're celebrating 40 years from Stonewall.
Sure. We may lose a battle here and there, but ultimately...
In fact, I think...
we're going to win the war. We have to.